everybody, and welcome to my review of Barbie, a film that pretty much everybody knows about, but here I am giving you my thoughts on it. So this film is co-written and directed by Greta Gerwig, and it stars Margot Robbie as Barbie and Ryan Gosling as Ken. And so the story is pretty much about how Barbie wakes up on a day in her typical dream existence in Barbie land, where she greets all her friends and there's constant parties and everything is absolutely perfect until she starts to get thoughts about her own mortality and some other more mature concepts that a doll shouldn't be thinking about. So she goes and visits another Barbie. There's a lot of Barbies in this film, played by Kate McKinnon, who is this disturbing, weird-looking Barbie that her owner, this little girl, had chopped her hair up and drew all over her face and everything. So she's kind of the weird Barbie. But she's almost kind of like an oracle of sorts, and she explains to stereotypical Barbie about how her owner must be having more mature thoughts and everything, so she has to travel to the real world to connect with the girl and find out what's going on and that sort of thing. So along the way, Ken tags along, even though Barbie doesn't really want him to, because he is obsessed with Barbie and she's kind of like, oh, yeah, you're fine. So he comes along with her. Anyway, I'm not going to really say too much more about it because the film sort of surprised me in a way as to where the story actually goes. In the meantime, we've got Will Ferrell playing the head of Mattel, who finds out that there's a real-world Barbie who's come to life, and so him and his teaming of executives have to try and bring her back in and put an end to all that. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say about the plot right now. But look, this film, I've got to hand it to Warner Brothers and Universal as far as the marketing campaign for this film. I mean, everybody knows about this film, and I went with my fiance for a screening on Friday night, so this is a day after it opened, and I was gobsmacked at the hundreds of people in attendance, mostly women, who were in pink, in cowboy hats, in glittery high heels and stuff, snapping up Barbie merchandise. My fiance said that in the bathroom there was price tags that had been cut from items of clothing all over the place because people had just gone out to buy things to wear to the screening. So the screening we went into, it was an absolutely sold-out session at 6:45 on a Friday evening, and I haven't seen anything like this since the last Star Wars midnight premiere. When the Warner Brothers logo comes up in pink, the whole place erupted into applause. It was insane, and it's got to be one of the most successful marketing campaigns ever put towards a film, but that being said, the film lives up to the hype. This movie was incredibly fun. So, for starters, it is visually dazzling. It is surreal. So many things about this film just really stay in your mind. From the opening sequence through to just random scenes throughout the film that are just really weird, but they work in the context of the film. The whole opening scene in Barbie Land, it really makes you feel like you're watching toys that have come to life. It is incredible. The production design on this film, I mean, I know it's easy to sort of think, okay, just make it pink and plastic looking, but no, there were a lot of things that had precise attention to detail. The car that Barbie drives, when Margot Robbie is sitting in this thing, the car looks way too small to be like a normal car, There are so many little things that I just loved visually about it. Helen Mirren plays the narrator of the film, and yeah, her voiceover was great. There is one joke in the film, which I am not going to spoil, but I was sort of thinking it's the kind of film that could have a lot of meta humor in it, but there wasn't really a lot of meta humor, save for one joke about Margot Robbie, which I thought was absolutely superb. The performances in the film are amazing. There is not a single actress on the planet who I could imagine playing Barbie as well as Margot Robbie did. And yes, One might think that I am a bit of a Margot fan, but I know I'm not alone in saying that. Like, she was amazing. I mean, she's gone from a local hometown hero here to an A-list Hollywood star and producer. I mean, she co-produced this film with her husband. And yeah, she was absolutely fantastic. But as many people are saying, Ryan Gosling as Ken is a scene stealer in this film. He played the role in a very silly fashion, but not over the top. It was a very pulled back, sort of subtly silly performance. And yeah, he just worked in that role. He was absolutely amazing. And kudos as well to Greta Gerwig, because her direction shone through in it. I mean, obviously an actor can, do a role really well like that, but it's also up to the director to help that performance. And yeah, I think she did an amazing job. The music is great. There was funny as hell. There was so many times where we were just absolutely busting our gut laughing. Yeah, on so many levels, it really, really worked. Now, I'll get into, of course, the themes and messages that this film is trying to portray, because it is, you cannot review this film without talking about this stuff, because it is important, because it is the reason the movie exists. Now, obviously, it's copping a lot of backlash from a bunch of mostly men who are complaining that the film is beating them over the head with the message and all that sort of stuff. But look, I personally didn't feel that at all. I think the messages behind the film, which is, a lot of people think feminism is just this big sort of, thing where women are better, and that is not what feminism is about. And I know I'm a man explaining feminism, and that's just wrong, but to me, feminism is about equality. It is about, women having all of these problems that don't get recognized, and, working alongside with men to help make the world a better place. And that is exactly what this film was all about. It wasn't saying that women are better. I mean, so there is this whole thing where Ken finds out about the patriarchy and brings that back to Barbie Land. So of course all the Kens take over, and there's that whole thing. And so the Barbies have to try and bring balance to the place and bring, women back. And but in the end, Ken and Barbie both have this thing of trying to figure out their place in the world and why they don't necessarily need one another to become better people. And I think that's great. I mean, I have heard one perspective from a friend who was saying that, I'm trying to think of how to explain it without spoiling anything. She thought the end could be better in a way. Yeah, look, I can't say why, but yeah, I mean, there is largely a thing about how both men and women can have independence and still function in society. And so, yeah, I didn't for once feel that this movie was telling me, bashing me over the head with a pro-women message at all. And I think a lot of the people that are complaining are the sort of people who misuse the word woke. And if you're one of these people that feels that word has any other definition other than the past tense of having woken up from a sleep state, then you probably might want to avoid this movie. But yeah, I thought the messages were very positive. I did kind of feel at times that the tone of the film was a little bit uneven. I support the messages that it was putting forth, and I loved all the comedy and the lightheartedness, but at times I just felt those two were a little unbalanced. At times it went a little bit too heavy with the message. At times it went too heavy with the comedy and forgot about the message. So I did think that tonally it was a little unbalanced, but not really in that bad a way, I mean, it's a minor gripe, but it definitely has plenty of rewatchability value to it. So yeah, look, I thought the messages and everything were great. I thought visually it was amazing. The dialogue was cracking. Everything about this film I just loved. I am absolutely going to own it on day one when it comes to Blu-ray, and I'm going to give Barbie a 9 out of 10. Or maybe I should have said a 9 out of Ken, because everything's Ken. But anyway, yeah, so that's my thoughts on Barbie. That's my brief thoughts on Barbie. It's the kind of film that you could really go into and talk about for hours, because, you know, for a film that is based on a plastic toy line, it has so many deep themes and everything. Oh, and there are a lot of people who have been asking me if this film is suitable for kids. Now, there is one scene where they do reference that Barbie and Ken do not have a vagina and a penis. That's pretty much the worst of it. So, you know, if you think your kid can handle that, then by all means, go for it. Like, there was one bit where someone says the word motherfucker, but it's beeped out and a Mattel logo appears over their mouth. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, that was pretty much the most adult that the dialogue got. So yeah, but by all means, I think it's an important movie for kids. I think it's an important movie for men, because there's one scene in particular where a character named Gloria, played by America Ferrera, just breaks it down as to what the problems are that women have in the world that, you know, a lot of men probably don't recognize. And yeah, and again, you know, it wasn't like bash, bash, bash over the head with the message. It was important, you know, because I think that in a way, I think the reason why a lot of people think that feminism is becoming such a dominant, powerful message is because men aren't listening to that message. So you've got to sort of enforce it more. But, oh, anyway, I'm rambling about feminism again. So I'm going to shut up now. So over to you guys. If you've seen Barbie, let me know what you think about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop me some comments below, because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. I'll catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.